Greetings, baseball fans, and welcome to the Fireball Review channel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been exactly 12 months since I last conducted a video on this channel, and in that video, I stated that the Baltimore Orioles would meet and defeat the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 2024 World Series. That didn't happen. The Orioles did not go to the World Series. The Dodgers did. They knocked off the Yankees in that series. I was actually at Game 1 of that World Series, believe it or not. I saw the Freddie Freeman home run. It landed literally 20 feet to the right of me. And now the evil Los Angeles Dodgers have once again taken over Major League Baseball. It is a very, very sad state of affairs throughout the league. The one good thing about this whole thing, though, is finally all the other Major League Baseball teams and all the other fans, suddenly it has been fashionable to hate the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know, some of us have hated them for a long time, okay? Padres fans, Giants fans, Angels fans such as myself, we've realized that they are the true evil empire of Major League Baseball. Dodger fans, I'm sorry, a lot of them are great friends of mine, a lot of them are family members, but they can be some of the most annoying people you ever come across in your life. I mean, it's like watching an episode of The View while listening to polka music. But all kidding aside, congratulations to the Dodgers. Much deserved. They were clearly the best team last year, and I'm sure their fans and their players are very excited going into the 2025 campaign. Can they repeat? That is the question. Nobody has repeated in Major League Baseball since the Yankees three-peated way back in 2000. It's been well over 20 years since this has happened. Can the Dodgers do it? Let's get into some predictions. Now, starting off in the American League East, if you had asked me 1 month ago who will represent the American League in the 2025 World Series, I would have emphatically said that the Yankees will repeat. They will go to the World Series once again. Then Garrett Cole went down with Tommy John surgery, and then all bets were off. The Yankees came back down to the pack, and unless you're a sad sack Chicago White Sox fan, who I believe are still part of the Major League Baseball, but I can't be for certain, your team has a shot to get to if they get to the playoffs, they have a shot to get to the World Series in 2025. Now, granted, some teams have a really, really, really narrow path to get there, but they have a shot. And I think in this American League East, anybody can win this division. It is totally wide open. You can make a strong case for anybody. I could see us getting to the last day of the season in the American League East, and the team in last place is only like 5 games out of first place. It could potentially be that close. All these teams are very evenly matched. There's no really good starting rotations in this division. I mean, some teams have improved. Obviously, the Red Sox are far improved in the starting rotation department. But I think this is going to come down to whoever outslugs the other team over 162 games. And I think Baltimore, that young, good offense, will prevail in this division. And I think the Orioles have the trade chips to go out at the trade deadline and acquire a frontline starting pitcher, an ace, or at least a solid number 2 type pitcher. And I think the Orioles narrowly win this division. I think we might have a wild card too come out of this division, but we'll get into the wild cards after we go over the division winners. Now, over in the American League Central, I hate to go with the popular pick, but I'm going with the Detroit Tigers on this one. How crazy is it that the best pitcher or the second best pitcher in Major League Baseball is a guy by the name of Tarik Skubal, okay? I've never even heard the name Tarik before this guy came into existence. And how crazy is it that the best pitcher is named Tarik Skubal? And that's kind of another weird last name he's got too. But be that as it may, the guy's a hell of a pitcher. They got Jackson Jobe to back this guy up, who might win Rookie of the Year. They got a good manager in A.J. Hinch. Decent offense. Look, this is a toss-up division. Both central divisions are really going to be kind of a wild show this year. It really could go to anybody, but I like the Tigers starting pitching. I think Tarik is going to come through once again this year, and the Tigers will win the Central. Now, moving over to the American League West, speaking of sleeping on, how in the hell is everyone sleeping on the Seattle Mariners? Okay, this team, everyone's saying this team might have a better rotation than the Dodgers, okay? But everyone's picking the Texas Rangers. Some people are even picking the Houston Astros. Some people even say the A's might win this division. Of course, nobody's picking my Angels, but I can understand that, of course. But how in the hell is everyone sleeping on the Mariners? I know they had a bad offense last year, but Julio Rodriguez, I think the guy's going to have a bounce-back year. If he doesn't have a bounce-back year, he should just retire and like become a male model or something like that. But be that as it may, I think this guy has probably a big year this year. If he doesn't, I think Randy Arozarena does. I've always said Randy Arozarena is like the most exciting player in Major League Baseball. I love watching this guy play. I think he's in a contract year. I think he's in a walk year this year. So I think he's going to have a big year. And I think the Mariners are going to prevail in this division. I don't think they're going to run away with it at all. Obviously, they have some problems in the bullpen. But everybody in this division has problems. Everyone's saying Texas, Texas, Texas. But you don't know how Jacob deGrom's going to come back. This guy is always hurt. I love Jacob deGrom. He's one of my favorite players in baseball, but I think he's 37 now. And he didn't look great when he came back at the end of last year. He looked pretty average, but he's looked better in the spring. We'll see what happens. But outside of deGrom, even if he comes back strong, it's not a very strong starting rotation. I don't get the fascination with the Rangers. I think they might be a wild card team, but I think Seattle takes this division. I feel really good about that. I think Houston has certainly come back to the pack a little bit. Their window of opportunity has slammed shut. Now, moving over to the National League, I think there's a big discrepancy between the National and American Leagues this year. The fifth or sixth best team in the National League is probably, I would say, slightly better or significantly better than the top team in the American League. There's a big discrepancy amongst those 5 or 6 teams. But be that as it may, let's start off in the National League East, where I think, look, the Braves are the hot pick right now. I get it. The Braves are my National League team. I'm rooting for them. I always root for the Braves in the National League. But I think this is the Phillies' time right now. They are getting a little bit older. That window of opportunity is closing. They got a lot of guys in the early to mid-30s. They got to try to knock that door down and get back to the World Series and ultimately win it. So I think they're gonna move heaven and hell if need be to try to acquire a piece of the trade deadline, even if it means mortgaging their future. I think they're going to do it. Where I don't think the Braves will do that. The Braves feel very confident, and they should feel very confident the next 4, 5, 6 years in those young core players that they have right now. I think the Phillies are going to be more desperate. I think the Phillies edge out the Braves in this division. The Mets will certainly be in the equation, but I think this is the Phillies division to lose. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have made some controversial statements. I have made some controversial predictions on this platform over the 8 or 9 years I've had this channel. I mean, I had the Brewers winning the World Series, I think back in 2022 or 2023, and then those turkeys proceeded to not even make the postseason. That was a bold prediction. Those guys made me look like a total fool. But be that as it may, I am going to make a prediction when it comes to the National League Central that might even be crazier than that one. No one, I guarantee you, on YouTube or at ESPN or MLB Network is going to make this prediction that I am about to make. I might be an idiot, I might be stupid, I might be whatever, okay? It doesn't matter, but I'm going to make it anyway. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that the Pittsburgh Pirates will win the National League Central Division. Hear me out on this one. Paul Skeens, he is the best pitcher in Major League Baseball currently. He is that one guy, and not many teams in Major League Baseball, other than 4 or 5 teams, can give the ball to one guy, and you know every 5th day you're gonna win a game. That is a very special thing to have, and he's a very special pitcher. He's gonna probably win the Cy Young this year, so that's very exciting. And then they have this guy that's in the minor leagues currently. I think his name is Bubba Chandler, okay? And this guy will probably be in the major... He's going to start off in the minor leagues, but he'll probably be with the big league club here in the next month or two. And if he's as good as advertised, they're saying he is the best pitching prospect in all of baseball. If he can join Skeens and they can have a formidable 1-2 punch, the Pirates are going to win a lot of games. And let's be honest with you, this is not a particularly good division, okay? No disrespect. And if this Bubba is as good as advertised, this could be the year, okay? You want a guy named Bubba, by the way, on your team. Unless you're in jail, okay? You want a guy name Bubba on your team, on your squad, you know this is going to be one tough hombre, and I think the Pirates are going to get it done this year. I think they are going to shock the world. One division where there will not be any bold predictions out of me anyway is the National League West, where the Los Angeles Dodgers, love them or hate them, they will easily win the National League West, probably by double digits. And this is not necessarily a bad division at all, but they are that stacked. If anybody picks against the Dodgers, they just have daddy issues and they just want attention, okay? The Dodgers are winning this division unless they get to the All-Star break and the whole team comes down with the bubonic plague, okay? And even then, they might have such a big lead, it might not even matter. They might still win the division. Unless that happens, they will win this division going away. So let's move on to the playoff predictions now, shall we? Now, my wild card teams in the American League first, I got the Boston Red Sox. I think the Red Sox have bolstered their starting rotation with Crochet and Walker Buehler. I've always been a fan of Buehler, even though he was a Dodger, and he pitched very well. He bounced back extremely well from that elbow injury he had a couple of years back and the surgery. The Red Sox look good. They've added Bregman, and I think they get the first wild card spot. In the second wild card spot, I have the Texas Rangers. Look, I'm not high on the Rangers starting pitching. I alluded to that a little bit earlier. But be that as it may, they still have a great offense. They are healthier this year, and they have arguably the greatest manager in the history of Major League Baseball in Bruce Bochy. I have all the faith in the world in this man, and I think he gets the Rangers to the playoffs, but he gets them there as the second wild card team. The third wild card team, I think it's going to be the New York Yankees. I don't think the Yankees are going to fall off far enough where they're just going to miss the playoffs altogether. They still have a nice 1-2 punch with Fried and with Rodon, and they still have a good offense, still have a strong bullpen, so don't sleep on the Yankees. I think they will get that final wild card spot. The Royals will factor in there, but I think that ultimately they miss out. I think the Blue Jays and the Rays will be in the hunt, but the Yankees will get that final wild card spot. In the National League, I think the Braves will have to settle for that first wild card spot. It's going to be a tight race between them and the Phillies for the division, but the Braves will settle for the first wild card spot. The second wild card spot is going to go to a team that a lot of people, in my opinion, are disrespecting. The San Diego Padres were so close to eliminating the Dodgers last year, and then their offense just didn't show up for 2 straight games for some reason. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. But this is still a solid, formidable baseball team. I think they get the second wild card spot. They will not miss the playoffs this year. I think they get in there, and then I think the final spot, the third wild card, will be the Arizona Diamondbacks. Nice 1-2 punch. They've added Burns this year. They got Gallen in that rotation. It's a solid rotation, a good offense. I think the Mets just barely miss out on the playoffs. Even Keith Hernandez. I love the broadcasters for the New York Mets. They got a great booth there. And even Keith Hernandez said the other day, the Mets, their starting rotation is just a little too scary. I know they've added Juan Soto. They're going to be in the hunt, no doubt about it. They're going to have a good season, but I think they're just barely going to miss out on the playoffs. Now, folks, in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, there's always crazy things that happen. There are always 2 or 3 upsets. Teams you don't expect to win ends up winning because you have the best 2 out of 3, then you have 3 out of 5 in the second round. I think in that first wild card best 2 out of 3, you are going to have the Pirates, who will be hosting. They will be the 3 seed hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're going to have playoff baseball at PNC Park. Paul Skeens is going to be on the mound in that first game, and I think the Pirates are going to pull the... Why not? Stick with the Pirates. I've chained myself to this team. I've gone out on a limb. I'm going to stick with them. I think the magic carpet ride continues for them, and I think they upset the Diamondbacks in the wild card round in 3 games. In the other matchup, we'll have the Padres going to Atlanta to take on the Braves. It's bad judgment to me to pick against the Braves, especially with them hosting. But you know what? I really want to see a rematch between the Dodgers and the Padres. That is the best rivalry in baseball currently. And I'm going to go out on a limb on this one too, and I'm going to say the Padres will upset the Braves in 3 games in Atlanta, and we'll move on to the NLDS. And then over in the American League, I think the Tigers will barely take down the Yankees. I think that starting pitching wins out over the Yanks. And then the Red Sox will take down the Texas Rangers. Now, if you really hate the Los Angeles Dodgers and you want them to lose this year and not win the World Series, your best chance maybe to see them eliminated in the division series. Okay, they're going to have to play in a short series, a best 3 out of 5, and we see this very frequently in Major League Baseball. A top team, a team that wins 100-plus games, ends up getting upset in the division series because the division series is very scary for a favorite. Okay, it's a great opportunity for an underdog. Okay, a David and Goliath situation. These are where Davids make their money. Okay, because if you lose that first game at home as that favorite, like the Dodgers would be in this series against the Padres, suddenly you're on your heels. You got to win 3 out of 4 games, and 2 of those games are on the road. So if the Dodgers, this might be the best chance somebody might have to eliminate the Dodgers in that division series. Not saying they can't lose in a long series of 4 out of 7. They can, but I think the division series, if the Dodgers go down, it will probably be in this series. They will be playing the Padres, according to me. Look, the Padres have a shot. They looked very good last year. They had the Dodgers on the ropes. They couldn't close the deal, though, and the Dodgers ultimately came back. I think this would be another epic series. These two teams hate each other, and it's beautiful. Okay, it's a good thing when teams hate each other. We need more hate in Major League Baseball. Maybe not in the world, but we need more hate in baseball. It makes for good rivalries. I want to see the Red Sox and Yankees rivalry renewed. I want to see the Dodgers and Giants. It's good to have rivalries. It's good to have hatred amongst the teams. Maybe not off the field, but on the field, I think it's a healthy thing. And this is a heated rivalry between the Padres and the Dodgers. Ultimately, though, at the end of the day, the Dodgers are just so stacked. I think they take down the Padres, unfortunately, in 5 games. And then the other matchup, we will have my Pirates, and I guess they are my Pirates at this point because I've really gone out on a limb for them. They will be going up against the Philadelphia Phillies, and I think this is where the magic carpet ride comes to a crashing halt for the Buccos. I think the Phillies look like I've said before. This is the Phillies' year. They're gonna either they gotta knock the door down or the door is gonna fall down on them because they're getting a little long in the tooth and they have got to make it happen this year. I think they get past the Pirates. And I think the Dodgers and Phillies will meet for the National League Championship. Now, the American League Division Series, we will have the Red Sox going up against the Orioles. And while I think the Orioles will win the battle, they will win the division, I think the Red Sox, the wild card Red Sox, will win this series against Baltimore. Unless Baltimore acquires an arm at the trade deadline, I think the Red Sox are built a little bit better for the postseason than the Orioles, and I think they do take down Baltimore. In the other matchup, I have the Mariners taking down the Tigers. You know how high I am on the Mariners. I think they have an amazing starting rotation. I think the Tigers have a great starting rotation. This would be an excellent matchup. It would be a very close matchup. I think it would go the entire 5 games, but ultimately, I think Seattle takes down the Detroit Tigers, and I think the Mariners and the Boston Red Sox will meet in the ALCS, where there, I think, I'm going to make the prediction that the Seattle Mariners will go to their first World Series. They will beat the Red Sox in 6 games. They will make it to the World Series. And on the other side of the ledger, in the National League Championship Series, it kills me to say it, ladies and gentlemen, I know I said that this is the Phillies' year. They got to break down that door. They got to get to the World Series, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Dodgers are just too stacked. I don't know how I pick against these guys. I think it's going to be a great series with the Phillies. I think the Phillies would have a great chance to knock off the Dodgers, but ultimately the Dodgers are just too stacked from top to bottom. The rotation, the bullpen that they've added to in the offseason, the offense. I think the Dodgers take down the Phillies in 7 games. So yes, I think the Seattle Mariners will meet the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 2025 World Series. So from a starting pitching standpoint, this would be a good World Series. A lot of people are saying that the Mariners actually are one of the few teams that might actually have a better starting rotation than the Dodgers. I don't know if I agree with it, but they're damn close. They are really close. And if the Mariners can add a bat at the trade deadline, and maybe if they can add an arm or two down the bullpen, maybe they got a shot against the Dodgers. I don't think so, though, okay? And it kills me to say this, but I think for the first time in a very, very long time, since 2000, I think we're going to have a repeat world champion. I think the Dodgers are going to take it. How do I not pick against the Dodgers? I mean, look at that lineup. Look at that rotation. Look at the bullpen. I'd have to be out of my damn mind not to pick these guys to win the World Series. I got to put my hatred aside here, and I got to put the old thinking cap on. I got to put the nonpartisan hat on, and I got to say it. I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series again. It doesn't make me feel good to say it. It really doesn't. I'm going to go take 5 showers after I conduct this video, but I think it's going to happen. I think they're going to win the World Series again. They will take down Seattle in 6 games. Now, gloominess aside, today is opening day, and we all have a chance to win the World Series on opening day. Everybody is undefeated, which is very exciting, except for the Cubs, which is kind of a weird situation, but baseball is just, in general, kind of in a weird spot right now. It reminds me of golf, when Tiger Woods was winning all those tournaments, and everyone would say every weekend, do you like Tiger Woods or do you like the field? That's what baseball is like now in 2025. Do you like the Dodgers or do you like the field? Let me know down in the comments below. Can anybody dethrone these guys? I'll try to make more videos in 2025. I'll work on that. And as always, hit that dislike button if you like this video. Otherwise, see you next time. Toodles. Happy opening day.